Hey, what's going on there, YouTubers? Edgeman Cinejob coming to you here today with another unboxing video. So, I ended up going on eBay after the pre-release, and I was looking to purchase some of these guild boxes, and I was lucky enough to actually find a seller that was selling an entire set of these 5 guild boxes. So if you guys went to the Return to Ravnica pre-release, they did things a little bit different. Instead of just getting the traditional 6 packs for sealed, you would get one of these guild boxes. So they contain 5 packs of just regular Return to Ravnica and a guild pack that is just fixated on the colors that are included in the guild that you chose. So like Azorius had just blue and white cards, and they also come with a promo that it was actually playable in the pre-release. So today we are going to crack one of these open. Alright, so the box that we're going to be taking a look at here today is Izzet. So Izzet, I think, was probably the least popular of the guilds as far as my pre-release went, but I still have to say it's a really cool guild that has a lot of really interesting cards, and overall it just has some powerhouse cards like Cyclonic Rift, and the Overload mechanic in general is just enormous. So I definitely think Izzet is still a really solid guild, even though a lot of players didn't choose Izzet for the pre-release in terms of my turnout. So we're going to take a look at this box here. The box came originally sealed, but I opened it before the video so I wouldn't have a trouble with it. So we're going to take a look at what we have here. So first off, we have a letter from the Izzet League, which is kind of cool. We have the achievement card that goes along with the pre-release event. And we have our sticker for the Izzet Guild. So you can go around and stick this wherever you want. So now we're going to take a look at the rest of the cards that we have here. So we have our guild pack with Hypersonic Dragon. We have 2 packs here of Return to Ravnica, and another 3 on this end. So 5 Return to Ravnica packs and 1 guild pack. We also have a dice. So this die has a nice Izzet color to it, with the body of the dice being blue and the numbers are red. And then it has the Return to Ravnica symbol, which is awesome. And I like that they colored the spin down dice with the Izzet colors, or well, the guild colors for each one, but it still looks really nice knowing whose is whose whenever you're playing against an opponent of a different guild. But the box, fairly awesome as well. You can keep your deck and the rest of your cards for a sealed event in there, and it was a nice idea that Wizards had with actually making products for the event. Alright, so from here, we're going to take a look at the guild pack first and see what cool stuff we have inside. Alright, so we have Hypersonic Dragon. So it's a 4/4 for 5 mana, 3 generic, 1 blue and 1 red. It has flying and haste, and you can cast sorceries, sorcery spells as though they had flash, and you may cast them at any time you could cast an instant spell. So it's letting you play any sorceries that you have during your opponent's turn in response to different things, and ultimately it just gives you a huge variety of things that you can do per turn. So Hypersonic Dragon isn't bad, definitely really good with the flying and haste for 5 mana. We have the Izzet Guildgate mana fixing for us, and we have Niv Magus Elemental, Niv Magus, however you guys want to pronounce it. 1/2 for split blue and red. Exile an instant or sorcery spell you control whenever you're casting it, and put 2 +1/+1 counters on the elementals. So with the elemental, you're able to not let one of your instants or sorceries resolve, and instead you're going to be putting 2 +1/+1 counters on them, so you can get pretty big pretty quick. We have Thought Flare, so draw 4 cards, discard 2 cards. Street Spasm, nice removal with the Overload, as close as you can get to the Bonfire of the Damned without it being Bonfire of the Damned and being really expensive. Bluster Squall, really nice. You have an instant speed sleep for 4 mana with the overload cost. Chemister's Trick. Doorkeeper. Frostburn Weird. Pretty useful card as well. Saw a lot of play at the pre-release. Traitorous Instinct, being able to take one of your opponent's creatures for the turn and swinging in with it. Rune Wing, evasion creature. If it dies, you draw a card. Downsize, making creatures smaller for your opponent. Explosive Impact, removal for red, really nice. Viashino Racketeer, whenever it enters the battlefield, you can discard a card. If you do, you can draw a card. And we have Void Wielder, which bounces back creatures whenever he enters the battlefield. And Bellows Lizard, so he can make himself a lot bigger with his kind of fire-breathing-ish ability, but it's more expensive than fire-breathing. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the packs here. If I can get it, there we go. Alright, so we have Deviant Glee, given an enchanted creature +2/+1. Avenging Arrow, good removal for white. Terrace Worm, huge scavenge worm creature, 5/5 for 7. Common Bond, putting +1/+1 counters. Golgari Longlegs, just really funny name. 5/4 for 5 mana, really balanced. Sewer Shambler, Swamp Walk dude. Gorehouse Chainwalker, definitely useful. You get essentially a 3/2 for 2 mana that can't block, or you can have it not get the +1/+1 counter and be able to block. Gatecreeper Vine lets you search for lands or guild gates. Azorius Arrestor is good for the detain. Another Izzet Guildgate, good for our fixings. Soul Teeth, I think that this card is great for white, giving making your opponent pay the cost of whatever card Soul Teeth enchants during their upkeep, or they have to sacrifice it. That's really huge. Rites of Reaping. We have a Nivix Guildmage, so goes along with our guilds. And we have a Desecration Demon, so Desecration Demon is a 6/6 for 4 mana, 2 generic double black. Flying at the beginning of each combat, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If that player does, tap Desecration Demon and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So Desecration Demon is just absolutely huge. It's going to force your opponent to sacrifice creatures or take damage or chump block if they want to get away from taking damage and not having him become bigger. But Desecration Demon is just huge. We have a 4/4 Rhino token and a mountain. Alright, so moving along. Alright, so no foil out of this pack. We have a Golgari Guildgate. We have a Deviant Glee. Armory Guard. Urban Borgoning. So, this card is a enchantment and enchants land. Enchanted land has untap this land during each other player's untap step. So, Chemister's Trick. With Chemister's Trick, target creature you don't control gets -2/-0 until the end of the turn and attacks this turn if able. Cursor's Accord, making 3/3 dudes and populate. Destroy the evidence to destroy lands. Tower Drake, a Knightly Valor. Annihilating Fire, good for red, really awesome removal. We have Bluster Squall, again, just incredible. That sleep type of an effect for 4 mana at an instant speed is just crazy. We have Bazaar Kravad. We have V2 Gazi Guildmage, so the Selesnya Guildmage. And we have Niv Mizzet Draco Genius, so he is a 5/5 for For 6 mana, 2 generic, double blue, double red. He is a legendary creature with flying. Whenever he deals damage to a player, you may draw a card. And for 1 blue, 1 red, he deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So you essentially, for 2 mana, can draw more. Or ping creatures and get rid of them. But Niv-Mizzet is just huge. Really awesome legendary creature. Then we have a tip card and a swamp. Definitely awesome to get the guild leader for your limited pool. Alright, so no foil out of this one either. We have another Urban Burgeoning, Mizium Skin, Dynacharge, Essence Backlash, Hussar Patrol, Rumbleback Rhino, love the name of this guy, Azorius Arrestor, Explosive Impact, again more removal for red, which is good at an instant speed, Mind Rot with just some awesome artwork to it, Axebane Guardian, we have a Dark Revenant, Rakdos Key Rune, so letting us mana fix a little bit. A Tablet of the Guilds, so I actually haven't seen this one too much for the pre-release, but it's an artifact for 2 mana, and whenever it enters the battlefield, choose 2 colors. Whenever you cast a spell, if it shares at least one of those chosen colors, you gain 1 life for each of the chosen colors it is, so it lets you gain back life really easily. And then we have Volatile Rig, or Volatile Rig, should I say. So it's a 4-cost, 4/4 trample. It attacks each turn if able. And whenever Volatile Rig is dealt damage, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, sacrifice the rig. And whenever Volatile Rig dies, flip a coin. If you lose the flip, it deals 4 damage to each creature and each player. So It's a really interesting card. It's so dependent on luck, but I mean, still 4/4 for 4 trample. I mean, you could kind of do some shenanigans with him and hope for the best, but even at worst case scenario, he wraths whenever he dies. So, I mean, whenever he dies and whenever you lose the flip, definitely a really gambly type of card. Then we have a Sip card, and we have a forest with some awesome artwork. So 2 more packs left here. Alright. So we'll see here. We have Catacomb Slug, Eyes in the Sky, Survey the Wreckage, Axebane Stag, Cursor's Accord, Essence Backlash, Azorius Guildgate, Tower Drake, we have a Dead Reveler, Tristani's Judgment, good removal for white, Dark Revenant, a Street Sweeper, a Treasured Find. Really like the artwork of this one. Just really nice artwork. And we have Azor's Allocutors. So this card is a 3/5 for 5 mana, 3 generic and hybrid white and blue. So this is the infamous filibuster card. So at the beginning of your upkeep, put a filibuster counter on the card, and then if it has 5 or more filibuster counters on it, you win the game. And whenever a source deals damage to you, remove a filibuster counter from the Azor's Allocutors. So this card, aside from me being so difficult with pronouncing it, and I apologize for mispronouncing cards, but it doesn't really matter too much, but the filibustering with this card is just hilarious. I've seen people try to make this card work, and I haven't seen way too many times where it actually has, but it's definitely a fun card to play around, and I think a lot of kitchen table Magic players are going to have some fun with this guy. We have a Rhino, and then we have a Plains. Alright, so lots of filibustering going on there. Alright, let's see if we have a foil, and we don't. So no foils aside from the promo. We have a Swift Justice, Horncaller's Chance, Cancel, Bellows Lizard, Centaur Healer. We have a Chemister's Trick, a Tenement Crasher, Sunspire Griffin, Azorius Guildgate again, Kororzda Monitor, Tavern Swindler, another one of those gamble type cards, Call of the Conclave, we have a Fencing Ace, and we have a Wayfaring Temple. So Wayfaring Temple is a creature with power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you control. It's a 3 cost, and 1 generic, 1 green, 1 white. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, populate. Would be nice in Selesnya. And we have a tip card and a swamp. Alright, so I think overall, not too bad. I think the pool is not really overwhelming, but it's still a fairly decent pool. The Draco Genius is definitely really awesome. Hypersonic Dragon gets there as well. But out of it, we got the Wayfaring Temple. We got them filibustering dudes. Always awesome to be able to filibuster people, and it's still playable because it's hybrid, so we could actually even play it in this type of a build. The Rig, the Volatile Rig. Draco Genius, which is awesome. Desecration Demon. The Elemental, and the Dragon, the Hypersonic Dragon. So definitely really cool pulls. Overall, I think it's pretty decent. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of this guild box opening. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel for more Magic the Gathering content. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful, fun-filled Magic the Gathering day.